Hey everyone, welcome to episode 101 of the Retro Gamers. Larry actually here.
And Anthony actually here.
What's
am
going
I
on?
here? I don't even know if I'm here.
We're both here. This is new. This is a new endeavor for the Retro Gamers. We've been live. We've done stuff like this before, but now we're on this endeavor to record every week, which means I got to look pretty at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, I got to look pretty at 7. I am 3 hours behind you. And I have to say, if I do say so, I look better than you right now at 7.
Oh, I will admit, I just threw the hat on because I didn't have time to do my hair. So
very nice.
But this is
welcome.
Yes, no, and welcome everyone who's watching where we're posting this on Facebook and YouTube. And this is the Retro Gamers. If you're new to the show, Ant, you want to kind of fill them in on what they can expect from us?
Sure. The Retro Gamers is a retro gaming podcast, and now I don't know. What do you call a video cast? Do you call it a
video podcast.
A video podcast. Well, now it's a video podcast, and we talk all video games retro, and how we determine that is still up for debate, and it'll always be up for debate. Yeah, that's what we do. That's
basically it.
That's it.
We've known each other for over, at this point, 25 years, maybe 20 years.
Yeah. Once we hit 25, once we hit 25, I got to cut it off.
And
it's like amputating a limb. It's like, oops, it's gone rotten.
I do smell like almonds every now and again.
Nice.
So this is my studio. You may have actually even seen, if you've watched the better half, you may have seen a little bit of this studio. In other words, my apartment. So I got a lot of cool stuff here, which we'll talk about as time goes on.
Yep.
And I know you had a background that
I did.
Was
I had a really awesome background set up. I was like, okay, we're going to go into this. You have yours. I have mine. It'll be great. I was like, but what you're seeing behind me is a very plain white wall because I had to switch locations for the recording thanks to Microsoft. And Microsoft is going to get a little bit, not to steal from one of your other podcasts, Larry, but we're going to go a little bit into the yin and the yang territory.
Ooh,
Hi, Chew.
Every Friday, check out the Yin and the Yang podcast. I guess we're gonna have. I guess since I'm here as well, we can call it a Chewed Out Some More.
Yeah, we're gonna do a Chewed Out Some More segment really quickly because I need to talk about how much I hate Microsoft today. So
we had a little issue getting this started here with the recording the video.
About an hour and a half issue, more or less.
Oh my God, almost.
It's been almost an hour and a half since we started setting this up. And I honestly thought it was going to be really easy for us to do the recording and everything like that, but Microsoft decided to screw us. And so here's what happened. We record every week on Skype, like we do our audio podcast on Skype. And because we started video, I was like, we'll just record on a split screen on Skype, which is what you're seeing right now. However,
unless you're listening to the podcast.
Unless you're listening to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, you don't have to worry about this. But you may want to know this about Skype. So we were planning to do our video recording on Skype, and I have my laptop that I can use for mobile because I have my office set up in a different location from where my desktop is. So, and my office has my backdrop with all my video game stuff, so it would look really cool. And when I open up Skype, I couldn't get the split screen to work. Now, I tried every which way to do it, couldn't figure it out. All I had was a little itty-bitty screen with me in the corner, which, for me, I'm perfectly fine with, because Larry knows how much I hate looking at myself.
And I love looking at myself.
And he loves looking at himself.
Figure the better.
Yeah, figure that out. So I decided so I couldn't figure out how to get the screen out of the lower right-hand corner.
Which is weird because for the first time, Apple, because I use a Mac. I'm recording on a Mac computer. I was just able to drag and drop, and it split the screen. So this is like normally Apple is the one that has a hard time compared to a PC.
Well, especially with Microsoft programs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I'm sitting here, and I've always been a PC guy over a Mac guy. I mean, I use Mac at work. I've used Mac elsewhere, but I've always been a PC guy at home. So I went online to try and figure this out, was looking all over the place, and then I finally get an answer from somebody who put something on a message board, and Microsoft responded, the new version of Skype on PC doesn't do split screen anymore.
There you go. Just like that.
Just like that. No split screen. I hate you, Microsoft. You have ruined my life. Not enough to go get, to throw out my PCs and get a Mac, but you've ruined my life for now. So now I'm on my desktop, which has an older version of Skype and allows me to do the split screen, which if you're watching us, you're actually seeing right now.
Yes. I mean, hopefully you'll be able to download that older version of Skype on your other computer so we can actually get which is a very nice view of what you have happening in your welcome to Long Island where the lights are going to flicker.
Nice.
Your backdrop where you have a very good collection of items.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody can see that in episode 102. By next week, I'm hoping to have it all figured out. Or I'm just going to go visit Microsoft and scream at them until they put the code into the new Skype version and give me my split screen.
We love the Xbox, but Skype, not so much.
Not so much. Well, and speaking of the Xbox, if we can transition to that. And
sure.
I know we talk retro gaming, but the new Xbox that was announced at E3 they're talking about it being streaming only for games.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that, I forgot who I was talking to, and I saw that on a commercial. Mm-hmm. Like a tech commercial or something. And for like one of these tech shows. And I was like, holy cow, it's going to be streaming now? I remember everyone else was like, what are you talking about and why do you care? Yeah, we do tend to talk new as well. We have a couple of special edition episodes where we do E3 or a new system that comes out because me and Anthony are still gamers. But I did see this new Xbox and I already download games. Like I don't buy the physical copies anymore because really what you see behind me is really all I have as far as room besides my bedroom. So I don't have storage space. Now streaming, I can understand some complications with that where, especially that much data going through, but I still think it's going to be, it's an endeavor that I think is the next, we went from cartridges to CDs to digital, and now digital to just pure streaming. It's the next step.
No, it's the next step, but there's one major flaw with it. It depends on how strong your Wi-Fi is at home or your connection. Because if you don't have a strong connection, you're not going to be able to play games.
This is true to a point. I did see. Now this is all unofficial and off the top of my head, but I do believe that they were talking about somehow it's like a hybrid stream where like some of it will be downloaded physically, so you'll play some of it's going to be physically on the hard drive, and then some of it will stream as well. So it's some kind of weird mixture of the two. So it may not, because there's been other streaming only devices like the what was that, the OnLive.
Oh yeah, I remember the OnLive.
That was stream only, and their big, I mean, it's not around anymore.
Nope.
But their big selling point was you can stream like dare they say, maybe not dial up, but like a DSL modem. And like the idea was it was just delivered in packets, and then by the time it got delivered. So I'm sure that's going to be fine. And also, we're in 2018, and as time goes on, the Wi-Fi is going to get better. People buy eventually new routers because old ones just start to wear out anyway.
Yep.
And if you're doing a podcast that involves recording Skype where two people have to talk to each other, you may want to invest in newer equipment anyway, as much as we have new equipment. So,
well, true. and I guess time will tell on that one. We'll see what happens. And
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's enough about new stuff. We gotta go back to retro stuff.
We gotta go back in time.
Back to retro. Oh, which by the way, while I was cleaning stuff out, I did find your Super Mario watch.
Oh, look at that.
So
nice.
Yeah, so I have your Super Mario watch ready to go. And since this is our first chance at video, and I'm sorry for people who are just listening, so allow me to showcase your little Super Mario watch.
This pocket watch.
So little pocket watch that opens.
Oh,
and there you have it. Very nice. And
I love it.
I accept cash and check.
I think I've already paid you for it. You just forgot to mail it to me.
Oh, that's true. So then you'll get this when I'm ready.
So October.
Oh yeah, I'll bring it in October when I visit.
Or November. Either way, I'm going to get it either October
one way or the
November.
other. Yeah, so coming this fall, we'll actually have 2 episodes where we're in the same room.
Yes, that's going to be fun. We'll talk about that as the weeks progress.
Yes.
So that's cool. There you go. And that's just a new feature that we're going to be doing here. And depending on how post-production works, I'm sure Anthony will throw in some other stuff.
Yeah.
That we'll just.
I will somehow make my giant head look smaller when I do this in post.
This is the way you're sitting right now.
Well, I know I'm really close to the screen.
Yeah, like when you have a giant head like me, you kind of get used to it, so you kind of have no choice.
Well, if I block the bottom part with my microphone, that'll help.
See, I like this. It gives a look. Plus, it blocks a couple of my extra chins that I have, so I don't look point. as Bowser like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of Bowser, we got to maybe be careful what we mention about Nintendo because they're on a litigious. Go ahead. Is that the word?
Yeah, sure.
Lawsuit. They're suing everybody.
I was like, they're going into a lawsuit frenzy, basically.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we can't mention Nintendo on this show, I think our show will be doomed. So
we're done. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was something that I read about last week. We just missed it on our 100th episode, which, by the way, was last week. Yay!
Yes, it was.
We hit 100.
Our extra large. These lights are killing me. Come on, Long Island. Work with me.
Well, no, I kind of like it because like it kind of defines Long Island in and of itself. It's like we're here. We kind of work most of the time.
The lights are terrible. The power's terrible on Long Island, and the trees always uproot whenever there's a strong gust of wind. So
exactly.
Oh well.
But getting back to Nintendo, so it came out last week. There was an article that came out last week that Nintendo has decided to sue some ROM sites, some ROM hosting sites. Yeah.
Two in particular, which actually are owned by the same guy anyway. So it's like Love ROM and something else involving love and ROMs. Nintendo's going hard after this. Right now, this one guy, I haven't heard of any other sites yet that they've hit. And the idea is the guy was, I don't know if he was selling or just distributing. Maybe he was selling them.
Maybe.
The actual ROMs of the entire Nintendo collection.
Well, no, because there are other sites also that I remember they had. I think it was Cool ROM is another site. They used to have Nintendo ROMs up there, and they got rid of them. So I think this has just been a thing that Nintendo's been going after them as they've been finding them. And and they've been getting pulled off. So Nintendo, so definitely Nintendo does not like the whole ROM thing going on online, and which is understandable. I mean, it is their intellectual property.
Very true. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, they haven't done anything with these games in forever. And, the virtual console is basically becoming obsolete now because the version we're going to get on the Switch in about a month or two is nothing like what we've gotten on the Wii and the Wii U.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, why bother, Nintendo, why bother with it? But, like you said, Ant, and we understand here, our stance on ROMs and emulators, the legality of it is if you own the cartridge, if you own the game, you're allowed to own the emulator. But, of course, you're going to have people out there, we see it all over the place, emulated Super Nintendo Minis, NES Minis, anything they can get their hands on. And, it's... Maybe that's also on our end, how our love to actually go out and buy these cartridges and buy these games. I mean, look, I got, and this is just
you got a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah, thank you. And this is, unfortunately, this is all because of Hurricane Sandy. Right. Because I lost, as mentioned before, I lost pretty much my entire collection to Sandy. Even though a lot of this stuff is games I've never owned, but still.
Yeah. The one good thing that came out of Sandy is your Virtual Boy was destroyed.
And that will continue, apparently, folks. I thought the as a couple people have told me over the week.
Can you see that now?
There it is. Hashtag VB sucks.
Unfortunately,
check it
out. Unfortunately, in video, it's backwards. But oh well.
Tchip.com. Check out where you can buy retro gamer stuff. And hashtag VB sucks.
That's right.
So, having the cart, we've talked about it. You can go back and listen to the old episodes. It's just weird how, why? Why now? Why now Nintendo to go after? Do they have something planned? Are they going to put out this massive library of games all of a sudden?
Well, I mean, I can only assume that the new online streaming service is going to dip into their library, and maybe it's going to dip deeper than we realize. I don't
I
know.
hope so.
So it's entirely possible. My question is always with them is can they go after ROMs that were made by a third party? Because do they technically own those outright? Because when you see them putting games up on stream, right? They have to pay royalties, to my understanding, to any company like whose games they put up there. So in other words, if they put up a Mega Man, they got to pay Capcom. So right. So my question is, do they have the right to go after those third-party ROMs, or can they only go after first-party ROMs that they put out, like Mario, Zelda, and stuff like that?
I think they're hitting their own IPs. I think they're hitting just anything that Nintendo made. It's up to Capcom, Konami, these third-party companies, I guess, if they want to. But the third-party companies...
I'm sure LJN doesn't mind.
Oh, please. I'm... Well, I mean, there are a lot of good wrestling games I'd like to see back.
Yeah, but LJN was notorious for bad games.
Oh, they were terrible.
It's awful.
But at least the third parties, they tend to keep releasing these old games and working on the IPs. Capcom's got Mega Man 11 coming out in a few months.
Yes.
They just released the Mega Man X collection, 1 and 2.
Which, by the way, got really excellent reviews. So.
Oh, I downloaded. Yeah. It's fantastic. And what's cool about in that one, at least in the first one, is that they have like a special Maverick challenge mode where you fight 2 Mavericks at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I haven't tried it yet. I got it on the Switch.
I got to pick... Oh, is it available on the Switch?
It's available on Switch, I believe, PS4 and Xbox One. So all
right, cool. Now, because I'm looking for more Switch games to buy, so when I travel, because I'm still traveling with my job, I have stuff to play. And right now, I have nothing on my Switch right now to play, because I beat Mario, beat Zelda, and Lego Marvel 2 doesn't really work well on handheld. So.
Oh, no?
It just doesn't play well because of it's too small. The screen is too small.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
But anyway.
A Sonic Mania. Getting
reviews. I got to pick up Sonic Mania. I got to pick up the Mega Man X Legacy collections, which will be nice.
And even the regular Mega Man collection.
Oh, okay.
So, well worth it. A lot of challenges in them as well. But yeah, like what I'm saying is like third parties, they're using their stuff. Nintendo, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how, because like I said, the online service that Nintendo's planning for the Switch is nothing compared to what it's been like with the Wii and the Wii U. And the Wii Shop channel, I think it's in its last year. It's in its last year. You can still download. You can't add money to it anymore. But if you still have points, you can still download games till March of 2019. And I remember when that was announced, really before it started going crazy with the purchasing, as you heard last week. I started downloading a lot of games that I wanted to play through the Wii. That's not even available on the Wii U.
Right.
And the Wii U is still kind of updating itself pretty good.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll see what happens. My concern is, okay, Nintendo's going after their own properties for the ROMs. Will this affect any sort of like homebrews or hacks?
I don't necessarily think so, because I don't know. I mean, do you have to legally put your any created games through Nintendo in order to have them created? I think at this point the answer is no, because it's not like Nintendo is going to make a new NES game, Super Nintendo game, or N64 game. So I feel like if you're making a homebrew, I personally think it's okay as long as it's an original game. So in other words, like, I know, like, for example, you bought like a Zelda game, which is more like.
Well, those are ROMs. Those
are
ROMs.
No. Like, there was a Zelda Super Nintendo game.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, there's Parallel Worlds and BS Maps. BS Maps was from their online service in Japan, so technically that's a ROM. But Parallel Worlds is a homebrew.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, a Zelda Parallel Worlds game is taking a Nintendo licensed property and making a game out of it. That, to me, I think is illegal, and you can't do that.
Yeah, but along with like, yeah,
but if you're creating a brand new game from scratch,
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine, because I don't think anybody can stop you from doing that. Because it's your property. It's actually your property. It's just made to play on And you know what? It's made to play on a 16-bit system. It doesn't necessarily have to be made specifically to play on a Super Nintendo. Maybe it could be a Genesis or whatever it is. The bottom line is you're creating a 16-bit video game.
Correct.
So.
It's like those hacks and homebrews. Even the ones, because as far as hacks are concerned, it's really three games I've seen get hacked often. Super Mario Brothers on any, whether it's the NES version or the Super NES version. Contra, there's a ton of hacks for Contra, one of which I own, Revenge of the Falcon, which is phenomenal. Hard as hell, but phenomenal. And a lot of Castlevania hacks and ROMs, along with a bunch of other ones, that dip into different game modes and stuff like that. Those are the ones, because a lot of times they do like little twists. Like I've seen Demented Sonic, which is nuts.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's crazy. I haven't bought it yet. I got to pick it up.
Okay.
Speaking of that, though, that's kind of what I was getting at, because now that we're kind of and I shake my camera.
Nice.
When I was
earthquake in Long Island.
Oh, please, I hope not. We already had that one like 6 years ago. The 1.2 on the Richter scale.
Oh no!
Freaked everybody out.
You should be here for like the we get 4s that I sleep through.
Look, I already bought my airfare. Okay, don't. I'm already coming down there.
No, when you come here, I'll just shake the house somehow, just to freak you out.
Oh, baby, sweet baby Jesus. So what I was gonna say was, like Game On, and this is nothing wrong with it. They had some ROMs of games that like released in Japan that are over here and stuff like that.
Right.
But they were saying how like some of the hacks that they were selling, like the distributors just are gone.
Oh, wow.
Like they're not responding. And again, I don't think it's the hacks, because these are hacks. They are what they. And when we use the term hack, we don't mean like oh, he's a hack, he's a whatever. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows what we're talking about. So I think a lot of people right now are kind of knee-jerk reacting to this, saying, you know what, let's lay low for a little while, see what happens with these lawsuits, and then take it from there.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean, and if you think about it, if you're just a small-time person who's like putting stuff up on a website, it's like, hey, you know what, I have this little ROM website. You're not going to be able to, you can't afford to go into a big legal battle with Nintendo. I mean, so,
no, absolutely
so the easy solution is obviously to take them down.
Speaking of which, though, did you hear the big legal battle, though, that Nintendo's doing with these two websites? Like the punitive damages that they're looking for?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it like $100,000 per game or something like that?
Yeah, per game. Not on top of that, like $2 million in lost.
Yeah, I
think they said lost revenue. I don't know how that's possible.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you're losing revenue at this point on old systems. But I mean, when you think about it, I don't know what their legal lines are in their booklets, obviously, anymore. But do you remember, like on VHS tapes, on DVD tapes, they have that warning in the beginning if you if you violate the copyright law?
Still on
it's
DVDs.
Yeah, it's like $250,000 or $500,000 per. I'm like, it's the same thing with video games. Intellectual property, I mean, the whole idea is that the owner is protected. So if you're stealing it, but see, to me, I always felt like if you're stealing it and costing them money, Fox had a big problem with this when the Wolverine movie, the Wolverine Origins movie, was leaked online. Somebody
remember that.
Somebody leaked the movie online,
right? And
they actually accredited the poor performance the film did in theaters because it was leaked online a month before it was released.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, I mean that's on a grander scale. I mean, you think about a film studio who probably lost maybe $100 or $200 million potentially in film revenue. Think about Nintendo with like per game, like one game. I mean, if you're giving the game away for free, I mean, granted now they're older games, but you're potentially losing millions of dollars per game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's where also the argument of, is there some sort of copyright? Does it expire at some point where maybe they're allowed to distribute? Because that's how the clone systems are being made. The clone systems are being made because basically the copyrights for the design are gone.
Right.
They expired, I should say. So now they're allowed to make these clones. And, and that's moving forward. It's actually getting better and better, which we're going to talk about in a little while. I don't know, and speaking of clones, with the massive success of the clone systems, you would think Nintendo maybe would start to piggyback on this. I'm not saying start to release cartridges or anything, but maybe release they already have them. Release a cartridge that takes an SD card. Maybe you download through Nintendo, you know what I mean? You do it properly. You download games onto an SD or a mini SD. Right. You pop it into the basically a giant NES or SNES flash cart, and then put it into the clone and call it a day.
Well, when you think about it, but that's the whole idea behind the virtual console, the streaming service, whatever you want to call it. All of their new systems that come out now, starting with the Wii, have had online service so that you could download and play old, retro games. The issue that us gamers have is that they're controlling which games to release. So, you'll get your, maybe you'll get Double Dragon, maybe you'll get Super Mario, maybe you won't get Renegade, and you won't get River City Ransom, and you won't get City Connection.
City Connection's awesome.
Right. So, that's the thing. It's they'll never release the entire library, and as a result of that, gamers are missing out on all of these games, which is why people will start turning to ROMs, because they're like, well, I don't want to. It's harder to buy the cartridges because some of them are super expensive now, so I can't get them. So here's your simple solution. I'm just going to download it and play it. So to me, the answer is, to Nintendo, to Sega, to everybody. It's whoever they are. It's just release more of the library.
Agreed. And also, is there a way, maybe kind of a something to think about, and we can have people comment on the Facebook page with this. Do you treat the ROMs almost like you would treat buying an old cartridge at a flea market or a yard sale or at these used video game stores? Because these companies aren't getting a cut anyway,
right? Because
it's used and it's old. So unless I just opened up Pandora's box, and now the Retro Gamers single-handedly has destroyed the resale market for old video games.
You haven't destroyed the resale market, because the bottom line is physical cartridges that are being resold. It's kind of like GameStop. Physical cartridges being resold were already purchased from the parent company. These games were already sold by Nintendo. They've already made their money off of them, and they became property they became somebody else's property. And you can do whatever you want with your property. If you wanna resell it to somebody else, you can. If you want to take a sledgehammer to it, you can. It's all it's up to you. So which is what I'll be doing to you, Virtual Boy. I know I was gonna go there, but
my Virtual Boy.
Yeah, my Virtual Boy. It'll be my Virtual Boy to destroy. And we'll talk about our contest later, because we gave our update last week.
Ugh.
But once you own something, you have the right to do what you want with it. So there's no issue with reselling physical cartridges. The issue is when you're downloading the actual game itself online, you're taking something that you've never owned, and you're basically taking it from, you're taking it for free. And the company's not making anything off of it. It's the reason why the Virtual Console exists. They want to continue to make money off of these old games as much as they possibly can. It's why you've downloaded Super Mario 20 different times on every single console and handheld you've owned.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But ultimately, and that's what the issue is with what you were saying about release an SD card so that you can just play it whenever. If they do that, you won't continue buying the same game on every Virtual Console they release.
This is also true, yes. Again, weigh in, folks. Let us know. Retro Gamers Podcast there at Facebook, or I should say facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast. And let us know your thoughts. I already know a lot of people that we know. I already know what they're going to say about the ROMs and everything.
Yep.
But definitely check out some. As far as, like I said, because hacks are just that. People just going in, making their own games and stuff. There are a lot of interesting versions of games, like the Demented Sonic. There's a Christmas Super Mario Brothers 2, which is actually beautiful looking, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is.
And Monk's other Castlevania demonic games and everything. It's pretty fun. So check it out. Let us know, and weigh in on the Facebook page.
All right, Larry, it's time for our mini segment, and today we're doing a retro birthday.
Oh, all right. Happy birthday. I feel like now I should have a cake. Can you superimpose a cake?
Yeah, I can superimpose a cake there, but for the people listening to our podcast, cake doesn't matter. So anyway, today we have a very, very special retro birthday, mostly because I know for a fact it's a game that neither of us have played. It's a game both of us want to play, and it's a game that is celebrating its 20th birthday.
20th, so 1998.
So 20 years ago this week, on July 31st, 1998, it was the release of Shining Force 3 on Sega Saturn.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
98?
1998.
Wow.
Happy 20th birthday, Shining Force 3.
I honestly thought it was a little older than that.
Nope. No, it came out in 98.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's my holy grail.
Well, that's been my holy grail for a while because you know how much I love the Shining Force games. I know you've never... Have you ever finished a Shining Force game?
Yes, I have. I've actually finished both of them.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't sure. I was actually generally... I was legitimately asking. It wasn't an attempt to insult.
No, everyone who listens, fans of the show, they're fully aware of that. Yeah. No, I have beaten, and I've actually beaten the first one a couple times, even like the re-release on Game Boy Advance and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that series.
I love that series too, mostly because the battle mechanics to me are they're my favorite.
That's why I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, it's the same way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love the battle system on that. So yeah, so Shining Force 3 is celebrating its 20th birthday. I know you own Shining Force 3 on the Japanese Sega Saturn because I bought it for you when I was in Japan. I also have a copy.
All 3 chapters.
Exactly. Mm. Now, because for people who do not know this, I'm almost I'm segueing into a Did You Know segment in a way. We only got the first chapter in. What am I doing? What are you doing? What are you pointing at?
That's right there. The games are right there.
Oh, God. Okay. But in the U.S., we only got part 1 of Shining Force 3. We didn't get all 3 parts. In Japan, they actually released 3 different games. Mm-hmm. So, and, if we both buy a Japanese Saturn, we could play all 3. Of course, we won't understand what's going on because it's, we can't read Japanese. I may have to learn Japanese, but anyway.
Between the two of us.
Yeah, between the two of us and the fact that I travel there enough, I should probably know Japanese by now. But anyway, happy 20th birthday, Shining Force 3, and that is this week's retro birthday.
Nice. All right, well, we're back, and
are we really?
I guess so, right? I don't know. It depends on how we look in between each of these segments.
Oh, I don't know, man. It's kind of frightening to me.
It's all new, folks. Exciting and new.
Yes.
Love Boat Reunion in October. So we last week for episode 100, we had Josh from Victims and Villains.
That we
and
did.
If you don't know who Josh is, he's a pain in my ass.
Yes, he is.
So
hi, Josh.
What's going on, Josh? Love you. And me and Anthony gave our mid-year numbers for the Virtual Boy contest that we have, where at the end of the year, whoever spends the most money on retro games, retro, systems, has to buy the other person a Virtual Boy. Yes. As everyone knows, I've been waiting for a Virtual Boy for many, many years. Had my hands on one last year, but it wasn't working. Because, again,
that was funny.
Lost mine in Sandy's. Yeah, so I want to play it, where if Anthony wins it, he will destroy it.
Yes.
Live on Facebook.
Live on Facebook, on YouTube. There will be a video of me destroying said Virtual Boy. And I'm feeling really good about this now.
Yeah, what was your number again last week? As of January 1st to, near the end of July, middle of July.
Right, from January 1st to the end of July, my total was $672.47.
All right. My total from January 1st to yesterday, from when we're recording.
Hold on, this makes me feel so good.
The number has already changed, so not much. But I'm probably now, and I'm just going to round up. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's just round up, and let's just say it even 2 G's.
You've hit 2,000.
I've hit 2,000. Let's just call it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Larry, there are no words, except you may want to seek help.
I may have to, honestly.
Well, either seek help or declare bankruptcy, one or the other.
No, I will. This is all okay. It's all within the spending limits. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking.
But none of this will expand here for a little while. So
well, that's okay because now that I know that I have a $1,300 cushion. I can go spend money ad nauseum.
You have wiggle room.
I have a lot of wiggle room to do some shopping.
So I was at Game On, the official retro game store of the East Coast of the retro gamers. And I was there yesterday visiting. Great guys there. Brian, Tristan, Jay, Danny, everyone else who works there, all the customers. I'll give a shout out to Thomas, who stole our name, Thomas Retro Gamer, but that's okay.
Oh, how dare he. Do we sue him?
No.
Do we pull in Nintendo?
No, he's a good guy. Anyone else, though, watch your backs. But him, he's good. So I'm there, and over there at Game On, I don't know if it's the same at Game Dude, but at Game On, you can literally you can try any game that's in the store. Yeah, even the ones that are in the case.
Yeah, they don't have that at Game Dude. There's no trying it out. But that's okay because Game Dude is a giant warehouse and they have everything. Like
the Costco.
Everything. Yeah, Costco for retro gaming.
So I was there yesterday, playing some games. Actually, I was playing a lot of Genesis. I was checking those out. But also, just to back up a little bit, the day before, Frank Messina, co-host of the Better Half podcast, you can check out every other Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts, with myself. He recently actually hooked up a lot of his old systems.
Nice.
He got his Xbox 360, original Xbox, PS2, PS1, Dreamcast, and Genesis.
Wow, he's got
all these are hooked up now.
He's got a lot more systems than I thought.
And they're all his original ones. He even has the power converter for the Genesis so he can play the Master System games.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and this is all original stuff of his. It's really, really cool.
That is amazing.
So I went over there, testing it out, fixed a couple of items that he had a little trouble with, and we were testing the Dreamcast. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I really miss this console. The Dreamcast is one of the best ones.
Yeah, Dreamcast is extremely underrated, and the reason why is because it had such a short lifespan.
Yeah, right.
Biggest problem with the Dreamcast was that it didn't have a lot of third-party support, and unlike Nintendo, that can survive pretty well without third-party support, Sega wasn't able to do the same.
No.
And as a result, the Dreamcast was a short-lived system, and it was very sad because I still have my Dreamcast and I play it. I mean, I love that system. It was also
I think
the first.
I still have my games.
Yeah. Oh well, then buy a system.
Yeah. Exactly.
You should go out and buy the system today, Larry, or at least before December. So.
They usually have good deals on them. So.
Yeah, but the other thing that the Dreamcast had was it was the first system. It was the first system in the U.S. that had online functionality.
Yes, never used it, but it did have. Well, I never used it.
I never used it,
but it did have online. Yeah.
I mean, I think I tried once, and that was it.
So I'm sitting there, I'm debating, I'm going back and forth. I'm like, oh, do I need to get a Dreamcast now? And then, of course, this year I've been trying to focus on TurboGrafx 16. I've never owned a TurboGrafx before.
Which you can play on your Retro Freak, right?
Well, I'm in the process of sending that back to the United Kingdom.
Oh, what happened?
Because
here's mine.
No, make sure it works. You see that little adapter for the Game Gear?
Yes.
Just make sure it fits in the Genesis port, or else you're returning yours as well on your next trip to Japan.
Okay, I'm fairly confident that it'll be fine, but I'll test it, of course.
Mine sure didn't, which is why it's going back to the United Kingdom. I just got to find a box to get it in, and then they've already sent me, finally, after like a month in between emails, they finally sent me an email, the company I bought it from, with return processing through some company I've never heard of. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll
never see it again.
Fingers crossed that the Japanese version is better.
But still, I would like to own as much as I like the clone, because the clone systems are good because they're HDMI.
Right.
You can plug them in; they're up to date. But I would still like to own the systems just for the sake of owning them, just to say you have it.
Yeah.
And plus, it's the only way I can find a TurboGrafx controller.
Totally understandable.
But also on a side note, I guess like companies like Hyperkin, and there's another one, I apologize, I forgot, I was told about yesterday. The new thing now is also putting out HDMI cables for the old systems.
Yes.
There's actually Hyperkin's getting ready to put out an HDMI cable for the original Xbox.
Oh, that's really cool.
I think they're making one for the Dreamcast as well.
Ooh.
I know there's one for the Wii and some other, capabilities. But it goes back, and we've talked about this before, just very quickly, to kind of rehash original versus clone as far as systems. I personally like the clone systems, like I just mentioned, HDMI. They're up to date, easier to plug in when streaming, and I know you like the, you like having the OGs.
Oh no, I like the OGs. I have, you know me, I have 20 some odd systems now.
Yep.
But I, and I bought, the Retro Freak I think is the only clone that the only clone system I have. And I bought that specifically because there's only so much space I have in my living room to put systems in, and this one saves me the trouble, because
Absolutely.
you can play 16 different systems on it, including a lot of handhelds, which I've never owned because me, I'm very I've been I'm anti-handheld.
There's a lot of good gems out there, man, that are on handhelds.
Exactly. So, this affords me the opportunity to play those. But yeah, there's something about owning the original ones, especially the original ones that you that were yours. Like, in other words, I have my NES from 30 years ago. Like, it's the same NES. Same thing with my Super Nintendo, my Genesis. These are all my original systems, and I love having them. I love playing games off of them. It's awesome. Even though, I've had to say goodbye to my PlayStation 2. I will be saying goodbye to my Sega CD. But again, these
that one hurts.
I know, it hurts, but you know what? Not everything lasts forever. And on top of that, you can always go out and buy the system again because there are stores like Game Dude and Game On.
This is very true. And Super Potato. But of course, and a clone, the first clone system we talked about way back when, which is finally making some headway again, is Polymega.
Yes.
Because they're changing the game of clones, because they are the first that I know of, and I think maybe that you know of as well, because you haven't told me of any others, where their base system, like when they go on, I think they're going to do Kickstarter, and real quick, it's just basically modules. Like, you buy the base system, and then you can buy a module separately for the NES, NES, TurboGrafx, all those.
And you just
so
basically you plug it
pick
into,
and choose.
Yeah, and then you just plug it into the base.
Exactly. But with the base unit alone, we'll play CD-based games in one drive.
Which is awesome.
What's cool about it is, out of the box, quote unquote, at least as of right now, they're looking to do PlayStation 1 games, TurboGrafx CD, Sega CD, and Neo Geo CD. And I read recently that it's a possibility that they can add more CD-based systems, like, for example, a Dreamcast or maybe a Saturn, just for argument's sake.
Right.
Through updates.
Online updates.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all data. I mean, it's just all, you just have to download the data in order to make it work. So,
still, I think that's awesome. That's going to change the game now with CD-based games, because amazingly, a lot of the CDs, short of my Sega CDs, I still have. So,
well, yeah, you need your CD-based systems because there's no one console that plays it all. Like, there's no Retro Freak for it, and Polymega is trying to be the first company that does that. And if they succeed, I think they'll be ridiculously successful, because
absolutely,
I will buy that thing day one. I will buy that CD-based thing day one. I'm not so much for the cartridge though, because
that's understandable, and that's why that's what's great about it. You don't have to buy those modules. So, speaking of which, though, there's another thing that we really like to do, and it's arcades.
Oh yes.
There hasn't, now let's face facts, it's not like it was when we were kids. There's really no, short of like a Dave and Buster's, or maybe like a local pizzeria having an arcade stand up in there, there's really no more arcades like we used to have.
Right. They have definitely gone by the wayside. There are very, very few left.
Yeah, and we had well, I mean, look, you have your barcade, don't get me wrong, you have stuff like that, which is great, but like, even just for and I know they have like family nights, but those are bars.
Yeah.
Like for kids to be able to go in and just play and drop quarters and stuff like that. Now, me and Anthony, we grew up in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn alone, three of the best arcades we had. And this is going to get local, but whatever. Right. We had Buddies.
Yep.
We had Funtime USA.
Yep.
And we had, I don't know if you remember, it was actually literally around the corner from me. Mm-hmm. It was on Garrison Avenue, and it was right before you turned down to get to my block. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid growing up. This kind of looked like they were just building homes. They turned one of the homes into an arcade.
Oh wow!
You probably didn't know about it because
that one I definitely didn't know about.
And it had a pool table, but it had really good arcades. It was the last place I knew that had a WrestleFest in it.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. And then they did some shady stuff and that closed. But Funtime and Buddies lasted for a while.
I know my sister worked at Funtime.
She did actually.
Remember? Yep.
I do remember. Still couldn't help us with an autograph.
No, she definitely couldn't. Just like my sister, completely useless.
Throughout the years, arcade cabinets have been sold for home use. Mm-hmm. I've even seen them in the old. Actually, no, they're still out. The what are they called? What's that German catalog?
I don't know.
Hammacher Schlemmer. Anyway, now they're putting out.
God bless you.
No, I'm trying to think of those. They use that in Beer Fest. There are, I guess you want to call them first-party cabinets. A lot of these cabinets are usually like third-party. You just throw emulators on. But there's a company called Arcade 1UP that just came out of nowhere.
Yep, just showed up.
What, 4 or 5? Five of these cabinets. Hey, you want to tell them a little bit about these cabinets as far as their designs?
Yeah, so these cabinets are they're 4 foot tall, so they're 3/4 scale cabinets, so not the full length. And each cabinet has 4 different games on it that you can play. So, for example, there's a Street Fighter cabinet that has the Street Fighter one I think just has 3. It has 3 different versions of Street Fighter. It's got Super Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Championship Edition.
Yeah, let's not even for example, we'll just go into it. That's one of the cabinets.
Yes.
The other one, the one after that. I think you were talking about this one. Has Rampage, Gauntlet, Joust, and Defender.
Yes, that's the one I have my eye on. I'm very excited about that one. And and it has the artwork on the actual cabinet of one of the main games in the cabinet. So in other words, the Rampage one that Larry just mentioned has the actual Rampage artwork on the outside. It's really cool.
There's another one. This one has a good list as well. Centipede, Crystal Castles, Missile Command.
I love
and
Missile
Millipede.
Command. Yes.
I'm not a fan of Missile Command.
I know you don't like Missile Command. Me, I'm all up for Missile Command. And that actually those 4 games are set up on that arcade. If you looked at it closely enough, it's set up that way with the roller ball because those games use the roller ball instead of the joystick.
Oh, these are paired for particular reasons.
Yeah,
so.
They are set up on purpose, yes.
The cabinet I'm quite interested in is the Capcom cabinet with Final Fight, Ghosts and Goblins, 1944, The Loop Master, and Strider.
Yes. I looked at that one too, and I was interested in it for, Final Fight and Ghosts and Goblins for sure.
Yep.
But again, it's just awesome Arcade 1UP to come out with these systems, or come out with these arcade cabinets that you can own in your home.
And finally, the last one that they have is Asteroids, Tempest, Major Havoc, and Lunar Lander.
Yeah, now, see, my problem is there are games on almost all 5 that I want. But, I don't necessarily want all 4 games in each cabinet, but I definitely want at least 1 or 2 in each, which makes me want to buy all 5.
Oh, forget about it. And they're reasonably priced, folks.
Yes.
They're only $300. And when I say only, remember, this is,
that's
a quarter scale
priced.
Or a 3/4 scale arcade cabinet.
Yeah. At 3/4 scale for $300. I mean, if you went to go buy any other arcade cabinet, I think you're easily dropping at least $1,000, depending on the game, and you're only getting 1 game.
The one I was talking about that's in that catalog, I think had a bunch of games. I had like Ms. Pac-Man and stuff. had like hundreds of games, but it went for like 3,000, I think. And they sold like a half-size one you just put on your table, which went for like 1,500. This one though is pretty cool. I actually like the 2 accessories that they would sell that you can buy extra with the cabinets.
Well, before you get to the accessories, the arcade that you were talking about that you could buy, but that becomes one of those situations where I don't think they've licensed all of the games that they have put in there.
Possible.
You know, this is from a specific company, and I believe I would assume all of these games are licensed through Arcade 1UP because
it's gotta be.
and they have the rights to sell it.
I mean, it's basically Atari and Capcom. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're definitely licensing them. They got to be because the way they're selling. There's Walmart, GameStop, Walmart Canada, and soon Bed Bath & Beyond.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the Beyond section.
Well, no. That's actually great because Bed Bath & Beyond is notorious for giving you unlimited 20% off coupons in the mail. You get those?
That's true.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, well,
so fine. So
lady lives upstairs gets them. So
exactly. So
I get them.
Right. So Bed Bath & Beyond, if they sell them for $300, you can actually save another $60 off of it by using one of those coupons.
Interesting. All right.
So
look out for your mail.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say, and Walmart actually does. They do free shipping.
Yes.
So if you buy this, you can get it shipped to your Walmart for free, and then as long as you have a car big enough to pick it up, you can take it home.
I'd have no idea where I would put mine. I'd have to put mine in my foyer.
Oh, I know exactly. Foyer. I know exactly where mine would wind up going. It's going to go on the back in the backdrop of my what I'm supposed to be in the background over here for the video.
That'd be perfect. This is the perfect size.
It's the perfect size to put back there. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have it because the other issues I had today. But yeah, I mean the idea of having these, especially, and again, they're about 4 feet tall. That way they're ideal for sitting. You can put a chair in front of it and play instead of standing.
Not only a chair, or you can buy a special Arcade 1UP stool to sit on, which I kind of like that idea.
Yep.
But the other thing I like is the riser.
Yes, the riser is and you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm going to wind up buying. If I buy one of these, I'm buying the riser because I want to play my arcade standing up the way I always play arcade.
Yeah, so it's a riser to just basically lift the arcade cabinet up to be a normal size cabinet as far as height.
Exactly. That's definitely what I'm going to wind up doing if I buy one of these. No question.
This, like I said, it literally popped up overnight. They are available as we speak.
Yep.
Yeah, you can pre-order them on Walmart right now. I guess you can also do it at GameStop.
Yep.
And if you know someone up in Canada, pre-order it in Canada and drive up there and pick it up. Save a little bit of money.
Well, I guess, and then the ship date for these officially are September 25th.
Oh, wow. Right around the corner.
Yeah, so it's only a month away.
Oh.
2 months away.
Never mind.
What?
Walmart Canada has already figured out the conversion rate and have priced accordingly.
Oh, damn.
Oh, well. Oh, look at that. It's tiny. Hold on. Look at how tiny. There's an actual picture from Walmart Canada. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. It's still cool. But
you're talking about the 4-foot version?
Yeah, like the regular and you know, it's funny.
I see the image of people sitting there.
Here it is.
Yes.
The image pops up, I don't know, here.
Yes.
So that is hysterical actually.
Well, yeah,
sitting in front of it.
That's if you want the sitting version. Like I said, I want to stand up, so I'm
gonna get the riser,
no question.
Absolutely. So check out Arcade 1UP. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of what could be a wonderful, wonderful ordeal and a very expensive one, might I add, as well.
Yep.
Oh man. Well.
Aside from that, I got a couple of other news items before we depart, so to speak. One is I found this on there's a website called NintendoLife.com, and they do a lot of retro news.
Oh, cool.
And they just put up a gallery of an old Super Mario board game. It was a fake board game created in China. And and I'll post images up on Facebook. It'll be up on the video, just like Larry did a second ago. Here it is.
As he puts it over my face now.
As I put it over his face so we don't have to look at it. But it was actually a Super Mario. It was based off Super Mario World, and the board was split in 4, so you had 4 levels going across.
Okay.
Which was really, just a really interesting. But it was illegal. They illegally made that. So, but it just looks like a really cool game. Like Nintendo should have licensed it and put it out. I think it would have been great. The other thing that's totally random, but I'm going to tie it back to, you were at Game On recently. Sorry, I got to go off the screen for a second. I'm back.
Hey.
You went to Game On recently, and you were showing off a video which had the NES Cheats VHS tape, which I owned, and it had the Contra brothers on top of it.
Yep. Tristan, he bought that the TV with the VCR in it, and got it to work, and we were watching that.
We were watching that, which is
it was like, what's hysterical is like 9 of the games were Konami, and 9 of them were the Konami code. They just never called it the Konami code.
No, they never officially called it the Konami code. It's just gamers called it the Konami code because it was in every Konami game, or a bunch of them. But anyway, to jump on that, Nintendo UK just released, or I should say re-released, the Super Mario All-Stars VHS. Do you remember that?
No.
Really?
No, I don't remember. Super Mario All-Stars VHS.
Yeah.
That's not the ice skating special, is it?
No. It was the official Nintendo release, and I'll read what it says on the cover.
Okay.
An invaluable and entertaining journey into the amazing world of Nintendo, including play tips on Super Mario All-Stars and all the latest releases. I used to rent this from my video store. It was official VHS tape.
Maybe because I had like 2 tip VCR VHS tapes. I just don't remember the name of them because it's been so long.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe it was one of them.
Well, this one had the actual Super Mario All-Stars cover, because you remember Mario dressed up like the magician with the wand?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that was on the cover of the VHS.
Oh, no, then I didn't have it.
Yeah,
no.
So Nintendo UK has re-released this VHS.
That's cool.
On VHS.
Oh, that's cool.
Or is it a video form of the VHS? I'm not sure. I gotta look into that. But anyway, I just thought that was really cool because you were showing a VHS in your video yesterday. So that's it for that's really it for retro news this week. There hasn't been a ton going on. I think the biggest thing we talked about earlier with Nintendo suing people, because they don't, they have free time on their hands.
Yeah, they got the money as well.
Yeah, that they do. All right, Larry, it is time for this week's Cheat of the Week, and I've got one that was relative to our last segment because I like to tie things together.
I like when a plan comes together. What do you got?
Yes, I do. So this week's Cheat of the Week is actually for Crystal Castles in the arcade, not any console game, but actually in the arcade. So our Crystal Castles cheat this week are locations for the warp zones in the game.
I didn't even know there were warp zones. Okay.
There were. So in order to get to level 5, the level 5 warp, on level 3, you have to get the hat and go to the back corner of the hidden ramp and jump before the hat wears off.
Okay.
Got all that?
I think so.
You'll have to try it out when you buy the arcade from Arcade 1-Up. You can warp it to level 7 when you're on level 5. So after you do your level 5 warp, you can do a level 7 warp.
Oh, okay.
In level 5, you go to the upper left corner of the maze and jump.
Okay.
And then you will skip over to level 7.
Interesting.
Additionally, and I should have probably said this one first, but they're out of order on the page that I'm reading them on. But in level 1, you can jump to level 3. You can warp to level 3 by going to the upper right corner and jumping. So you can basically skip the even number levels.
I was going to say, yeah.
You can skip 2, 4, and 6. Jump yourself all the way to 7. And that's it. Those are the 3 warps that you can find in Crystal Castles on the arcade, and that is this week's Cheat of the Week.
We have survived, finally, this video version of episode 101, as everyone listening in their commute to work are probably going, what are half these things these people are talking about or showing?
No, well, and again, this is all a learning experience for us. We're trying to balance everything out now that we're trying out video on top of the podcast. I will say this though, despite all of the hiccups we had setting this up and recording today, in terms of the video podcast, I will say one good thing about doing it this way.
Okay.
The video already looks better than a Virtual Boy. And what you see inside a Virtual Boy. Why, you may ask? One, we're not all red. Two, we're not pretending to be 3D. So
that's next.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, no, you don't want us in 3D. I will purposely... Yeah, exactly. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But this is different. I mean, like I said, we've kind of done stuff like this before, but we're going to be looking to do this actually weekly now.
Yes.
And that's going to be no deal.
Yep. And next week with the proper backdrop.
Yes.
And I swear, if I can't get this to work in my actual office, there will be a green screen behind me next week, and then I'm just going to put up whatever the hell I want.
You'll be in Super Mario Brothers.
I will be it. Yes. While I'm talking, you'll just see like Ganon walk by and all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'll try and jazz up a little bit. I got not much happening over here. I got stuff over here. I'd like to thank DNA Design right there. I know it's a little, you can't see it because it's being washed out, but that's the NES label where it just changes. The label changes on an LCD screen.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And of course, we have our first ever contest.
Yes.
That we are running right now.
Yes, we are giving away an NES Classic, which used to be impossible to find. Now it's a little bit easier to get.
Yeah,
but
our timing is impeccable.
Our timing is great. It's like we finally get one to give away and everybody can get them. However, you can get one from us for free. So that's $60 cheaper. If you want to enter our contest, you can visit our website, which is www.theretrogamers.com. There's a tab on there called Contests, and you can enter there to win the NES Classic. Entries must be in by Friday, August 17th, and we will be announcing the winner on our August 21st episode.
Yes, I'm sure the link is now posted below. So,
crap! I got to do that now. Yeah, there it is. But if you're listening when you get to your computer later, I just told you where to go.
Don't do it while you're driving, people.
No, and Larry, as much as I would love to tell you where to go, this episode's over.
Ooh, ouch. And with that, we're going to wrap this up, folks. So now you can check us out everywhere. Literally everywhere. iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Alexa. You can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yep.
Check out, we're going to be doing more streams. And you've been doing a lot of streams. The Tomb Raider stream really got me. I almost bought Tomb Raider yesterday.
Oh, really?
But I think I already have it. That's why.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep streaming Tomb Raider until I get to the end of the damn thing. So, and I'm doing a piece at a time. Maybe if I have some time today, I'll do some more. I'll do a little streaming and get it done. We'll see.
Better than me, because I'll be damned if I ever do Castlevania again. Castlevania 2.
Well, you promised our listeners.
You did it for me.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter if I did it. You have to do it. The goal is for you to complete Castlevania 2. So you need to get back at that.
We'll see. And with that, though, check us out everywhere you listen. Don't forget also the Instagram page has slightly changed.
Yes.
Now we're at Retro Gamers Podcast.
Retro Gamers Podcast. We're streamlining ourselves.
Yes. So everywhere at Retro Gamers Podcast. 5-star review on Apple iTunes. Please let us know. Let us be heard. No, we are hearing us. No, you share us.
Yes.
Let your friends, let your family know. Share the contest. And folks, this has been fun.
This is
great. It's been weird. I'm dying to know where I've been looking the whole time, so I'll see.
I know. It'll be interesting to see how this all winds up, because we're going to look like a couple of weirdos. I know. It's awesome, though.
Oh, well. Well, we will now catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.